I am as shocked as you are, my fellow Chibits, that I'm even able to make a video on ReZero right now. So, there has been someone in the ReZero community translating the web novel series of ReZero since the conclusion of episode 25. And I've been kind of slightly keeping up to date, and finally there's enough content for me to really talk about and make a video on it, and pretty much the entirety of Arc 3 has come to a close with the recent translations of ReZero. And before I even get into the details of what was revealed in these chapters, I'm just going to quickly state that this video contains spoilers after the anime. So if you have not watched the anime, if you have not watched episode 25, if you have not finished the series, then this is spoilers for you. Now, if you want to retain and stay as, an anime only, then I don't recommend you to watch this video, because this video will contain spoilers for ReZero that carries on after the anime series. Now, I briefly got into some of these spoilers on my last, ReZero review for the anime, and so I'm going to kind of get back into those spoilers, get a little bit more in-depth with it, but also talk about the new stuff that was brought up in the latest chapters that were translated. And I just gotta say right now, if I had a hat on, I would tip my hat to the person that's currently translating ReZero. It makes me very, very happy to see how there is translations going on for this very, very, very good series. And if the translations continue to be at fast paced, I will definitely be making more, ReZero videos on the, current web novel series that's being translated. So hopefully it continues to get translated at a good pace. So once again, if I had a hat, I would tip it right now to the translator. It really means a lot. It takes a lot of effort to translate, and I just want to say thank you so much. What you're doing right now is some brilliant work, and I'm just so happy someone is willing to do a translation to this very good series. And so hopefully you continue to do it, and just thank you so much. I don't know if the person will probably watch this video, but I still just want to say my gratitude and thanks for someone to being able to take the time to actually translate the series so we can all read it. So this content in these latest chapters that were translated, as I said, I briefly covered them in the final parts of my review of ReZero, and I want to dive more in depth with them and talk about the new stuff that was revealed. And let's just dive straight headfirst into the current ongoing plot of ReZero after the anime. As I briefly discussed, the next main plot is fixing who's Rim. For instance, everybody has forgotten about Rim because she encountered two sins. She encountered gluttony and greed at once. And it caused it to where Rim's entire existence was erased, her name was erased, she's literally in a coma, and nobody can remember her. And right now, Subaru's trying to find a way to save her, and that's his main objective right now, to defeat the Sin Archbishop, which is, gluttony and greed, before he can restore the Rim to who she once was, and have everybody remember her once more. So that's kind of like the current objective going on right now in ReZero, and Subaru, we get to see his struggles after the aftermath of what has happened, after, this man has just now went through so many hardships after doing so much to save Emilia. He lost one person, Rim, and he cannot fix it with his return by death. This man, throughout the entirety of ReZero, through the anime, and if you read the original source, which I highly doubt since it's not all translated right now, but after the entire series up to this very point, we've seen Subaru struggle. As a person, he struggled so much, he's went through so much hell to be able to save Emilia. And after all this is said and done, after everything was finally fixed, the reason how he was able to accomplish this was thanks to his return by death ability. And as a person that has this type of ability, when he dies, he can come back and fix things from a different angle, it seems like he can always fix said things. But for the first time in the series, Subaru experiences loss. It's not the natural loss you would see. For instance, someone would die, then he dies, and then he resets it all and he fixes it. It's not like that. The meaning of what this arc stands for is so much more, because Subaru now, he cannot return to the past to fix what happened. He cannot just kill himself. He cannot go off and die to fix what has happened to Rim, because now when he decides to kill himself, or when he dies, he's already got a checkpoint after Rim's, death in a way, where she's in a coma. So he can no longer fix things with his ability, and this is the first time in the series to where Subaru cannot do anything about it. There's nothing he can do, and so there is a slight chance that he might be able to save her if he is to defeat Greed and Gluttony, but at this time I know, that's still just a whisper in the wind. He has no idea if that will be fruitful or not. So, at this time, for all we know, Rim is pretty much dead. Like, she is legit dead. And this is a true death of the series right now, because she's not coming back at this time, because there's no confirmation if she can come back or not. So, that right there, it's very sad to know that Subaru, after going through so much shit, after losing so much, after all these wounds his heart has, been hit with, after his mind literally almost broke, and Rim pulled him out of that darkness, he loses her. And even when she says, I will be with you for the rest of your journey, I'll be having your back, I'll have your back, and I'll watch you become a great hero, he loses this person that was one of the first true people to really give him inspiration and change who he was for the better. And now he has lost her. She is no longer there to give him emotional support. And I feel so bad for the man after losing someone that really cared about him like that. And, I mean, throughout the chapters of me reading it, you get to see how Subaru, he almost gets to that point where he wants to give up. But you see how he's able to kind of overcome this and think of the hope he has, what he has right now, the brighter future that he could possibly strive to go for. Because one of the big things holding him together is that the words that Rim said. For instance, if Rim was still around and she saw Subaru acting like he was, she would get very sad or upset with him, because all the character development that he got with Rim in his conversation would be kind of negated. So he has learned from that, and he's not letting what's going on with Rim getting to him to the point to where he'll literally stop and give up. He's continuing to move on and trying to become a hero still, and also help her out along the way. So thanks to Rim is why he's able to even carry himself onward at this time to continue to support himself before he can continue with the series and not give up. So once again, even though Rim is kind of out of the picture, she's still offering that emotional support for Subaru. So in a way, it's like she is still there. And that makes me happy, but it's also sad and tragic to know that Subaru, he lost someone that truly cared for him and loved him. And so yeah, that's a big part of this arc right now setting up, and hopefully Rim does get fixed and healed. But let's talk about Gluttony, let's talk about Greed. So, these two characters, Gluttony and Greed, as we found out, we always thought that the well was, Gluttony. For instance, someone that would eat their memories, eat the existence of someone and make them not exist at all. That's what we all assumed. But thanks to the reveal of this, we found out that Gluttony, in fact, is a person like Sloth Beetlejuice, and also the well was just a pet. A fucking pet. I'm not even joking. The well was a pet of the witch's cult. And judging by what the man said, he stated that he could literally make another white well. It would be easy. He could legit just make another one. He doesn't give a shit. He can make another one. So, Gluttony could make another white well, and it doesn't even harm him at all. And he is a lot stronger than the white well. And also, this man, he's fucked up in the head. Like, this man, his personality is so lively. I really wish the anime was still ongoing for I could see this man's personality of how it's anime. I would just love to hear the voice actor, because if there's one thing about ReZero I loved about the anime, it was the voice actors. And I would love to hear this man's voice actor with him laughing the way he was talking. I mean, it's like, joy, gratification, my body trembles. I'm like, yo, this man, it just is so creepy. And then you have this other character, Regulus, which is, Greed. This man, I gotta say right now, I like Gluttony, I like his personality, but Greed stands out to me. Greed is one of those characters I know is going to be a badass, but scary, and someone that is literally going to be the main terror of the sins. Let's talk about this man. So, the introduction to Greed, by far, is some creepy shit. I mean, Gluttony is creepy. Beetlejuice was creepy with his introduction as well, and I just gotta handle Beetlejuice's introduction. But when it comes to Greed's introduction, his entire aura that he gives off when I read the chapter just scared the fuck out of me, because I'm like, I couldn't imagine how this would look animated if I can already feel these emotions just from the character with this writing. So, the introduction of this man literally Crush and Rim were in a carriage, and they were riding into this person, which was Greed. We find out was a Greed. They were going to run over this man. They were legit just going to trample over this man because they knew he was a part of the witch's cult. And as they were about to run over this man, the entire carriage splits and shatters and disintegrates, and, like, everything just gets cut in half, like it's nothing. Thanks to Rim, she was able to grab Crush and jump out of the carriage and save her, and Rim escaped death at that moment. But this man, he didn't do shit. He was literally just standing in the road like this probably, and the carriage went straight at him, and it broke the carriage, and it shattered and disintegrated. That's scary. That's legit scary. This man didn't even do nothing. Literally, the carriage killed itself. That's what it was. The person driving the carriage, the dragon in the front, the ground dragon, it just committed suicide against this man, and he didn't even lay a finger. He didn't do shit at all. And from what we saw was that this man, he literally had an impenetrable armor. Nobody could really touch him. Like, you had to where this man, he was so strong, nothing could be done to him, no damage. His clothes wasn't affected at all. This man was completely fine, and Rim notices, like, oh, this man is definitely different. But then, we get to see this man's personality. The way he talks in a way that completely goes against greed. As you know, when you think of greed, you think of someone that's greedy. They want everything. They need everything. They need everything. They want gold, riches, wealth. They want all of this. They want, you know, I guess people. They want everything. They want everything when it comes to the world. And this man, his personality doesn't go along with greed. Like, he's someone that is like this. He's like, whoa, you're trying to interrupt me while I'm talking and all that? Like, you're trying to take my right from me? You're trying to interrupt me while I'm talking? Whoa, no. Well, I'm not having this. It's one of my own rights. I'm someone that is not very selfish. I just have certain things, only certain few rights, and you're trying to take my freedom of talking from me? And he got so pissed off, he ripped Crush's arm off. Yeah, he legit ripped her arm off with gust of wind. Just gone. Just gone in a second. It was gone like that. And so this man, he's someone that doesn't have greed. He might be greedy for certain things from later on in the future, we don't know. But this man seems like if you try to overstep your bounds and take away his things, like since he is greedy, and since he is greed in general, if you try to take his shit away from him, like his, I guess, voice, or try to take away from his ability to talk or whatever, this man gets triggered to the point he will kill your ass. So, if you try to stop this man from doing whatever he wants to do, like if you try to stop his basic rights, like if he wants to walk down this stone brick path, you can't stop him. If you stop him, this man's gonna kill you. So, that's what it comes to his greed. Like, you know, if you try to take anything from him, it'll backfire on you. He'll come at your ass. So, greed, his personality, the way he acts, he seems calm and level at this time, but he seems like someone that is probably more demented than Beetlejuice and Gluttony. Gluttony, on the outside, he seems like someone very crazy and fucked up. He was laughing, he just wanted to eat all the time, he wanted everybody's memories. He was acting like a traditional Gluttony. He literally wanted everything from people. Their name, their memories, he just wanted everything. He was looking at everybody like a smorgasbord. He just wanted to eat everybody in sight. While, you know, Greed, he was someone that was very calm. He was just someone that seemed to be someone that just was out for himself, but also he seemed to be kind on his outer personality, but most likely has a darker personality in general that's hidden behind the layers of the way he acts. So this man, Greed, I think is a lot scarier than Gluttony. Even though Gluttony right now is probably the main big baddie because he's the one that stole Rim's memories and name, I still feel like Greed is a whole bigger picture here. Like, this man is a way more dangerous than what happened to Rim. For instance, stealing her memories and name, I feel like Greed is a lot worse. I mean, we found out some stories that this man was able to wipe out cities and stuff by himself. He literally wiped everything out by himself. No challenge at all, which is to be expected since this man literally couldn't be damaged. I mean, something tried to hit him and just broke and imploded. And if I had to kind of guess here, judging by the magic he used to wipe out Crush's arm and cut it off, I'm assuming he has some form of wind magic to where he can probably block himself from anyone trying to damage him. For instance, he probably has like some form of barrier on his body, and if you come into contact with it, you just get obliterated. So I'm assuming that's what's going on. He has like some form of barrier or wind or something. That's probably one of his main abilities. That's why he can't be hurt. Now, Gluttony, he's a scary motherfucker too, because this man was able to wipe out an entire army that fought the White Whale in seconds. This man legit wiped everyone out, killed all of them, erased their memories, their existence in seconds. So this is also not another person we could assume is weak too. I mean, Beetlejuice, if you think about it, after all the shit he has done and what he was doing in the latest episodes of the anime, he's a strong person. He's very strong. He is smart. Even though he's crazy, he is smart. Thinking about it like that, he is nothing compared to what we see from Greed right now, or, Gluttony. I mean, these two entirely have a different presence to them that just screams like they're hell of a lot stronger than Beetlejuice ever was. Beetlejuice was someone that was very active. He was doing things behind the scenes. The majority of the things that people heard about was thanks to what Beetlejuice was doing. But these other sins that we've seen introduced, they seem to be more of the dangerous kind. Ones that when they do something, you don't really hear much about it because they literally end all the news that any fit body can get out. For instance, you have it to where Gluttony, he eats everybody's fucking memories and name to where you won't even realize what this man is doing. And when you have Greed, this man is so strong, he wipes out cities like it's nothing, and you don't even know what happened because no news can get out of what the fuck this man just did. So Beetlejuice, definitely weaker when it comes to Greed and Gluttony. So I can't wait to see more of these characters in the future and how they're characterized in the future of ReZero. So right now, the end result of this, okay, somehow Rim was able to survive. Well, I guess you could say she's dead because, I mean, she's, in a coma, like an unconscious state. She literally has no existence anymore. It's like she's just a husk, just a shell. Her soul's no longer there. And so I guess you could say she's dead, but she's not dead at this time because there is a possibility she could be saved. But Crush, on the other hand, the only thing that happened to her is her memories were taken away, so she can't remember her name, she can't remember anything that happened in her life, but she's still necessarily alive. And judging by the latest chapters, it seemed like the arm that was cut off was healed back thanks to Phyllis healing her. So it seems like overall, Crush got off lucky, which my question is how? Like, did Greed and Gluttony just let her go? I mean, I guess Gluttony wanted just her memories and name, and he wasn't really interested in making her into a coma, but he wanted to make Rim into a coma probably to get someone like Subaru to come after him. Because this is the big thing that happened in that entire exchange of dialogue between Rim and these two sins, was that the reason why they came in the first place, or Greed actually came on coincidence. He wasn't really trying to be there. He just, was wandering and eventually popped up there where Rim was. But the reason why Gluttony appeared in the first place was thanks to the White Whale being killed. And the reason why he was happy that the White Whale was killed was because, like, he's been waiting for a feast, for someone to finally take down this creature, his pet, and when someone took it down, he would finally have a feast. He could eat something very strong, all this passion, this joy, and he'd be very happy. So he was there for a reason. He was there because he wanted to come after the people that was able to take down his pet, while Greed was there on accident. He wasn't even really trying to be there, and so Rim got very unlucky. And if I had to assume anything, since Gluttony can eat someone's memories and name, I'm going to assume he probably can take their memories. He can take their memories and have them for himself. For instance, he can probably draw upon their memories, all their emotions, their thoughts, and have them for himself, and that's why he's Gluttony. He wants all those emotions, those memories to fill himself, and I feel like the way, he acted, or the way he was, talking to Rim, was that after he devoured Rim's name and all that, because of why he let her go, was because he knew that someone like Subaru, since he was supposedly a hero that helped defeat his pet, he knew he would eventually come after him to get back and get revenge for Rim. And also, since Rim's body is there, Crush was there, they'll key things together that something was going on. So I feel like he set that all up just for Subaru to probably pop up to face him in the future, where he can take all of Subaru's memories from them as well. So a lot of setup going on right now with that. But let's get off of that. Let's talk about the other content, the aftermath of everything that happened in the anime and what happened to Rim. So Subaru has a conversation with Phyllis and Wilhelm, and also Crush, which is actually surprisingly fine, even though she has no memories. He's having a talk with everyone. Amelia's there as well. And the conversation, the main focus of it is just what is going on with Crush and how they can get back her memories, and also what's going on with Amelia, for instance, their alliance with her camp. As we know, the big point of this latest arc of Arc 3 was that Subaru set up an alliance between Crush's camp and also Amelia's camp, and there was trading rights and stuff exchanged. And thanks to the aftermath of what happened to one of the royal selection candidates, for instance, Crush, and now that she's literally, like, not the same person she once was, it's going to cause complications in the run for the next ruler of the kingdom. And obviously that puts them in a very bad spot. And if, like, say, someone like Subaru or Amelia or something were to reveal this information, it would probably kind of just kick them out of the entire selection. Nobody would want to have them as the next royal candidate because she no longer is the same person she once was. But on top of that, though, if they were to continue to associate with Amelia, it would cause more problems for them, too, because the witch's cult most likely would come after anyone that's allied themselves with Amelia and her camp. For instance, Crush would be targeted once more. Wilhelm, Felix, and all of them will be targeted thanks to them associating with Amelia in the first place. So they wanted to break off the alliance because it would be very bad if they continued to kind of assist them at all. Now, the main core conversation, though, it was negated, and it made it to where it was pushed off the table for now, and so all negotiations were throwing away the alliance was off the table because they need to wait for more people to arrive. For instance, a Rosewall to appear where they can kind of determine what they want to do. So at this time, they're still allied, but they're not really, in alliance right now, but it's just kind of delayed for right now until more people can pop up and have a conversation about what they can do from this point onward. So, besides that, there was something said, though, amongst the conversation that really made me respect a certain character, and that would be Wilhelm. So Wilhelm as a character, this man, he defended Subaru multiple times throughout the chapter. He defended him and said that, hey, you should not make fun of fairy tales and say, like, you should give up hope, stop searching after a fairy tale. It's not like that. Nothing like that can happen. And Wilhelm, yelled at Felix, really in a stern tone, was upset, and literally, just got so angry. Like, never say that in front of Subaru ever again. Never say that in front of him. Say there's no hope or anything like that, because this man has lost everything. We at the very least, we still have Crush that is alive, and we at least know who she is. But poor Subaru, he has someone that is literally unconscious on a bed. Nobody can remember her. She can't speak. She's not there anymore. So he's in a worse state than we are. We should at the very least understand this man's feelings and let him have hope if he wants to have hope. So Wilhelm standing up for this man, I have to commend Wilhelm for standing up for Subaru, because not a lot of characters really do. Rim stood up for him and some other characters stood up for him, but I'm glad to see Wilhelm continuing to be that bro to Subaru, helping him out and all that, even though what Wilhelm was trying to do was kind of greedy in a way, which I will get into right now. So after the entire conversation with, the alliance and all that, and the negotiations, Wilhelm and Subaru have a talk, and Subaru starts a conversation like, hey, thank you for sticking up for me, it really means a lot and all that, I want to hold on to my hope, but it means a lot you're willing to say something like that, and say, don't say that in front of me once again. And after that, Wilhelm's like, no, I'm very sorry, I need to apologize. I was greedy, and I wanted to hunt down the sin, because I wanted to be able to kill one of the sins, Gluttony, before I could fix Crush and make her back to what she once was. And I wasn't really trying to assist you in any way, I was just using it for my own selfish purposes, before I could accomplish my goals. So I like how Wilhelm accepted what he was trying to do, and he confronted Subaru about it. It makes his character so much more interesting, and how he realizes what he was doing is very greedy and very mean, and he said sorry to Subaru, and Subaru accepted it. I really appreciate that entire dialogue between these two characters. It shows you how closer they have become, and how Wilhelm will continue to be a very iconic character throughout the journey of ReZero. Now, one of the big things, the biggest reveals about the latest chapter, was that apparently Wilhelm, a long time ago, he got a wound on him, okay? He got a wound on his shoulder, which was a wound that cannot be healed. It's an unhealable wound. For instance, this wound, no matter what you want to do, if you try to heal it with any magic, it cannot be healed. It's that type of wound, okay? And that would mean that if the wound continues, you will bleed out and die. And that's what Subaru was thinking. But then Wilhelm's like, no, don't worry. This was a very old wound. This wound was from a very, very long time ago. And what he states is that when the person that made this wound on me, like the person that gave me this wound is nearby, it will open up and start bleeding quite a bit. So, what this means is that the person is nearby that caused this wound for Wilhelm. But then this is where the interesting stuff pops up. Apparently, the person that gave him this wound was his wife. You heard me. Wilhelm's wife is the one that gave him that wound. And apparently, after the White Well and all that, the entire incident, it started opening up once more. It opened up and started bleeding uncontrollably. So, his wife is alive, apparently. Wilhelm's wife is alive. And he knows it. And that's all the information I know at this time. So, his wife is alive, or around at the very least. I cannot wait to see what's going on with that more information. I want to leave it there for now because there's not much more information I have, but his wife is alive, and I cannot wait to see Wilhelm's development with his wife. So one of the big things I need to dive into besides that, let's talk about the Witch of Envy's conversation to Subaru, and how Amelia really had no idea what the witch's cult was really about. This surprised me. It really fucking surprised me, because the big thing is that Amelia, even though she knows about the witch and all that, how the witch destroyed the world and stuff like this, still, Amelia had no idea about the inner workings of the witch's cult, what they did, why they were targeting Amelia. She had no idea. And we get this information for the first time, and some shocking information at that. So, the witch is sealed, which we knew of. We already knew the witch was sealed, but the witch was sealed off in the edge of the world. Like, this far edge of the world, she is sealed off. And right now, she is sealed to the point to where if someone was to try to get near her, you'd think they would try to revive her. For instance, they would get over there trying to unseal her. But it's not that simple to just go and unseal her. Apparently, the area to where the witch is sealed off at, it's an area to where there's a very good lack of magic. For instance, you can't use magic or anything like that. There's no mana to draw upon magic to be able to cast spells and free the witch. But also, in that area, there's a lot of the witch's scent. So if you were to come around in that area, it would probably corrupt you or do something fucked up to you, and so you wouldn't be able to resist the witch's scent. So that would mean that you would befall to the witch. You would fall to the witch, and you wouldn't be your person you once were. So this is an area to where not many people can really reach, and the only people that are there are two people from a very old age from 400 years ago, which are elder sages. Yeah, you heard me. Elder sages, two elder sages are sitting by, watching close by to the edge of the world where, you know, the Witch of Envy is currently sealed at. And the two great sages, you have one that's a great sage and another that's like a dragon as well. And this is very, very fucking interesting. So you have like a dragon, which we know there's a little bit of lore to the dragon, and now we know a great sage is there as well that watch over the witch's tomb, or where the witch is currently sealed at, and she's not dead. She's not dead, she's just sealed off, and nobody can reach her at this time. And if you were to try to reach her, these two great sages would fucking kick your ass. They would just straight up kill your ass. So, that is why the witch has never been unsealed, and these great sages have been watching over her for 400 years. Holy shit. Now, getting past that, let's talk about the details of Puck. So Puck never revealed this to Amelia, which is the strangest part of all, which is one of the latest things going on right now in the chapters, because Subaru is like, I'm pissed off with you, Puck. Like, you let all this dangerous shit happen, and you could have told Amelia about the witch's cult, but you didn't? Why the fuck not? Like, you put her life in danger, and when you think about it like that, it does make a lot of sense, because a lot of this stuff in the series of ReZero could have been avoided if maybe Puck would have said a little bit more details to why people are hunting down Amelia, or why the witch's cult want her. And you're questioning, like, why didn't Puck tell her? It's like he had no obligation to want to tell her at all. He didn't want to tell her, and you're like, why wouldn't you? So that's the question building up right now. Like, there's this conversation between Subaru and Puck that we don't really know much about, and hopefully we get to see why Puck didn't really want to reveal it at all. I mean, he said it would have been best if, you know, Amelia would just have not have known. It would have been best if she lived in ignorance, but there probably is more going on there, and hopefully that is revealed in the upcoming chapters that are translated. But that's about it when it comes to all the new information of ReZero. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next, and hopefully the translations continue to pump out, because there's quite a bit of content still. I think there's like a Art 5 or 6 still on the web novel. I mean, right now we're getting into Art 4, okay? And apparently Art 4 is the length of Arc 1, 2, and 3. That's how long Art 4 is. And then apparently there's like an Art 5 and 6 as well already in the, you know, web novel. So there's a lot of content that needs to be translated, and I just cannot wait to see it all translated before we can find out more. So whoever's translating this, thank you very much. It means a lot. Hopefully you continue to translate it, because I would love to continue talking about this series. It's fucking amazing. But you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.